Well, the parts magnet's back at it again. The last car show I went to, I heard something snap when I was going down the road, and all of a sudden the steering got all sloppy like Uncle Jesse's truck. I have a sneaking feeling that it's an idler arm, but might as well go ahead and replace the end links on the steering because they look kind of rough too. You see how the rubber's all cracked and leaking out grease? Yeah, they need to be replaced. One of the first things I'm going to do is spray a little paint back here where the threads are, back here in this area. And the reason I'm doing that is because at that point, if it's rusted back in the threads, I will know where my point is that I need to thread in. Does that make sense? So basically, I'm marking where the original line was. So when I put my new item in, I can put it in the same spot. So that is a 3/4 that fit it. Let's see if I can bust this off there. I'm not going to take it all the way off. I'm just going to loosen it up because I want to get that one busted loose first. Now that one back there was a half, and when I cranked down on it, look how much that split open. So those were definitely bad. Nice and rusty. A 13 fit the back, and it's just perfect for the leverage. Look at that. Oops. So hopefully I don't have to walk over to my buddy's house to borrow his pickle fork, but let's see if this works. Yeah, she popped out. Good. So I ran into a problem. Since I boogered all this up here, then it kind of wants to grab and it wants to spin the whole bearing or the bushing or whatever in there, that shaft piece. It wants to spin. So I keep on having to hit up on it and try to break it a little bit loose at a time. Take note, on the other side, I'm probably just going to take the nut off and just beat it all the way through, because it's not like it's going to go back on it. Oh, you want to do it the hard way? We can do it the hard way. Shoot, hard way. That may have been the easy way. Well, that was a little bit harder than I expected. What I had to do is put this adjustable wrench over the end of it and then slide my jack handle over it to make it a breaker bar. And I had to stand back and crank it, try not to break anything else back in here. But as you can see, the rusty spots, I got it loose. Oh, and by the way, it spins clockwise. So basically, you would want to turn it towards the front of the car, towards the headlights. Well, it's off. A little bit harder than I expected, but it's off. Wasn't really a pain until I got to that part. That's where it got stuck. The hardest problem on this car about fixing things is getting the old part off. Once you get the old part off, you're good. But they don't want to give up the old parts. Hopefully you can see all that rust up in there. I'm going to spray some PB Blaster in it. And then I'm going to spray some lube on the threads, because you can already see the rust on the threads from me trying to put it in. I think I got them matched up pretty close. it's going to need alignment anyway, so I had to kick this in just a little bit with a rubber mallet so it would slide in, but I think I got it in there correctly. I didn't move the spindle, so it should be in the exact same spot that it was. Hopefully this is in the right spot though. Got the castle nut on, putting the cotter pin in. Once I get the cotter pin in, I'll get this bolt in on this side. And while I'm over here, I might go ahead and try to replace that idler arm today. There's bolts up in there. And it bolts in right there. Passenger side tie rod end, done. So I crawled underneath and pulled the cotter pin. And then I came through the top with an extension on a 7/8 socket because I didn't have a 22 millimeter, and a swivel. I took that swivel, which is now broken, and hooked it up to my impact. But came off pretty easy. Honestly, I probably didn't need to use the impact, but I'm glad I broke my swivel. Okay, so those two bolts right there hold the idler arm on. Now, those are the nuts, let me rephrase that. Those nuts have a bolt going through the frame into a bracket. And this bracket is supposed to hold those nuts so they don't spin. Well, it's definitely not doing that. So, I have to be holding this and turning it at the same time. Definitely a fun project. This upper bolt was kind of a pain to break loose, but once I got it broken loose, it seems like it's doing its thing like it's supposed to. Yeah, I spoke too soon, but it came loose. So there's the old one out, and I have a feeling that this has been replaced beforehand because it has grease fittings in it. It may not have been bad. It may not have been my problem. But oh well, I'm going to go ahead and put a new one in. I probably should have put this in when I put the pitman arm in. Oh well. Well, let's see if I can get this brand new one back in. Alright, I got those two tightened down. I had to come in through the side of the frame like I took them off with an extension and a socket. I really don't think you're going anywhere. Well, I'm done with the passenger side. Now, hopefully I can just move right on to the driver's side. I'm going to take it down the road and see if this has made an improvement at all. And I'm starting to run out of daylight, so I might finish up tomorrow. Well, I just took it down the road and it's a lot better than what it was, but there's still some slop in it. Of course, I haven't done the driver's side. I think that'll make a big improvement. I'm planning on doing that tomorrow. Probably didn't need to change that idler arm, but it's in there. And the steering is a lot tighter than what it was. I'm not drifting all over the road trying to auto-correct like Uncle Jesse from Dukes of Hazzard. Well, let's see if I can get the driver's side done. I'm so glad that it's raining today. Yeah, it looks like this one's bad just like the passenger side. So, go ahead and get that bad boy busted off of there. Hopefully get the new one on. I got the bolts out just like I did on the other side. Let's see if I can get this one busted loose. There she went. Now I gotta get that off there. Hopefully this one comes off easier than the other side did. Well, I had to do it the same way. Adjustable wrench and the handle off my jack. Just slid this over the end and used it as a breaker bar and turned it. Of course, clockwise. So on this side, you would be turning it towards the rear of the car. The cotter pin that came with the tie rod end was way too big and ended up being more than a hassle. It was way too big and ended up being a mess. So luckily I saved the original one and got that one back in there. So it ought to be good. Well, time to get the wheel back on and take it for a test drive. Seems like it's going down the road a lot straighter than what it was. It was pulling to the right really badly. Hands off wheel. Seems like it's doing pretty good. And if I correct it now, beforehand I had a lot of slop. Now I'm starting to turn as soon as I turn the wheel. So, big improvement. Something's doing a little rubbing sound in the front end, and I think it's that idler arm. I think it's got to work its way in. Hopefully it doesn't keep screeching. Alright, if you made it this far in the video, please like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next episode.